Well, let's learn the melody for Misirlou now. The tune is in technically G minor if we had to put it in a Western key signature, but you'll notice that it sounds like D is the root for the whole A part. And it has an interesting chord progression, D and C minor, and that's because of the scale. So let's take a look at the scale first. If you are practiced in major scales, you'd know D major as D, E natural, F sharp, G, A, B natural, C sharp, and D. So this is a little different. We're going to make 2 be on the 2nd fret. E is going to be E flat. So D, E flat, and then there's a big gap to get to F sharp. But I would encourage you to still use the same fingers. First finger on E flat, middle finger on F sharp, the 4th fret. That way we have the ring finger like usual on the 5th fret. And that will continue on the next one. After A, we're actually going to have B flat. The 6th is flat in minor. And really weird scale. This is going to be a C sharp, getting us there to the D. Fortunately for mandolin players, it's the same fingering on both strings here, with an open string, 1st fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, and then open 1st, 4th, 5th. Be careful, on the way down, we also use a C natural. All right, let's try it out. So the first line goes straight up the scale, as you can see on the sheet music. The only trick is that you're going to play the open string twice, both times. D, D, and then A also. Loop that again. Oh, 1, 2, ready, go. 2 and 3, 4, 1. And for the beginners, note that on the 2nd beat we have 2 sounds. Those are called 8th notes. The 2nd one has to be an upstroke. So the notes will go down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. That's going to be a theme throughout this piece. That's the 2nd line also, so let's move on to the 3rd line. This is where we play B flat first. And that's going to repeat here too. So this is why it's good to learn your scales. And the same thing starting not on B flat, but on A. And we just hang right there. So let's do the 3rd line for real. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1. And then the next line starts on A, but is essentially the same figure. Getting us back home to D. Let's try that 4th line again. So let's play the whole tune up until now. This will be the first 4 lines, the first half of the song. Sometimes I use my ring finger on the 4th fret. It's okay. And here comes the 3rd line, starting on B flat. And then A is the next one, open A. At the B part, this time we finally get to the G minor chord that justifies that key signature. It's funny, when you get here, it sounds like G minor is the root. So that's the nature of these klezmer tunes, a lot of them that are in a minor key, but at first it feels like the 5 of the minor is the root, leading us to that very klezmer kind of scale. So let's look at the B part where we properly go to G minor. The note's a G for a long time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1. So let's break it down. We're going to have the same rhythm every time of 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So that's important to make sure it's another pair of 8th notes, which means the first one downstroke, that's on the beat 4. That G in measure 18 is the and of beat 4. So definitely upstroke on that second eighth note. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing with G and A. 4 and 1, 2, 3. Now it's A, B. 4 and 1, 2, 3, A, C. So once you get your fingers on the notes, the rhythmic figure should be the same for all 4 of those. So make sure you check on that. My notes don't really last that long on mandolin at that tempo. They fade out before that's over. So this is a good spot to practice your tremolo. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Just make sure you stop before the figure. 4 and, so we can really articulate those eighth notes. Sorry, adding my own thing. I like to add double stops. That's an F sharp underneath that D there. Don't have to play that. It's just coming out. So the next line, let's put those together actually. Here's how it sounds sped up a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So let's make sure those last 3 Ds on the third from the last line, measure 24, make sure that you understand that that rest is a big deal. That's when the band would stop. We'd be coming up to A, and now up to D. And then they'd come back in big on the C minor chord at measure 25. So the da and da and da ya da, that's going to be a part that's solo almost when you play this with a band. So let's make sure we have a good stop on the build up. We get to A7, now we get to D. So in other words, I guess what I'm trying to say is those 3 Ds are the pickup to the next phrase on measure 25. And that's another advanced rhythm you can add, but let's stick to the one on the paper. 1 da 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 da. So that's starting on an E flat, the note above D on the 6th fret, and that's D, D, D. Check my fingering there. It's a little different than usual. I'm choosing to put my middle finger on the D, where usually we'd keep our ring finger on the 5th fret. That's just so that I don't have to use my pinky. So how do I fix it? Because I need to play the 1st fret. I would put my ring finger now. Just a tip. You are welcome to play it like this. I find that these fingers together sometimes aren't dependable. Sometimes I mess up that way. So when possible, that's going to be my solution. Let's try that line in question. I'll give you a build up on the D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Then we're going to do essentially the same figure down on the C, down 2 steps of the scale. One switch at the end, we're going to skip the F sharp on the way down. So okay, one time all the way through before we move on to the play along. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes the B part. Ready and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, then 3, 4, 1. Nice work. If you're ready, please move on to the play along. You'll get to play it 3 times with me.